the former Tory party chairman, Sir Jake Berry, has defected to Reform UK. In a video posted to Twitter, he says, only Reformer Farage can deliver a Britain we're proud of.
Let's go now to GB News' political editor, Christopher Hope, who is with Jake Berry now. Chris.
That's right, Andrew and Bev. In the past 3 days, Kevin Badenoch has lost 2 former cabinet ministers to Reform UK, and the latest defection is Sir Jake Berry, the former party chairman. Jake Berry, why are you joining Reform UK?
Chris, I've decided that Britain is broken. I don't think any... look, this won't be a surprise, by the way, to GB News viewers. They can see me on your channel quite often, setting out the concerns I have with immigration, taking away of support from children with the abolition of the EHCP, all of these things. And I don't believe, even having been at the centre of government for 14 years as a Conservative MP, that either of the old parties have a plan to build Britain back into the country that we can be proud of again. Nigel Farage has. He's straight talking, he's head of a party that listens to people, listens to their concerns. He's the right man for the job, and I'm going to spend however long it is between now and the next election and beyond campaigning to ensure that he is made our Prime Minister and that Reform form the next government here in the UK.
Have you told Kevin Badenoch in person, and what did she say to you?
No, I'm not in touch with Kemi. I'd in fact left the Conservative Party a while ago.
You stopped being a member a while ago?
I stopped being a member of the Conservative Party a while ago. I've been on quite a long journey. I found myself getting sort of more and more concerned about the state of Britain, and I know that Nigel Farage and the Reform Party are the party who have the vision, the values to ensure that Britain can be rebuilt again.
You've been on your own journey, haven't you? Back Boris Johnson, then Tom Tugendhat, and now Nigel Farage. What do voters make of that journey?
Well, I think they'd say that politics is probably a bug that it's quite hard to kick. I lost my seat just over a year ago. I thought that was probably the end of my time in politics. But, if you look at the issues facing Britain, our streets here are lawless. You can barely walk down the street in major cities across the UK without someone trying to nick your phone out of your hand. We have uncontrolled migration. No one can get a GP's appointment. And I know, because I've been there, that neither the Conservative Party nor the Labour Party have what it takes to really transform Britain and build it back into a country that we can believe in.
But it looks a bit opportunistic, doesn't it? I mean, you've got the Reform UK ahead in the polls, 29 points, 27 points, Labour 23 points, Tories 20 points. You're basically going with the party that might win the next election. Well,
I really hope the Reform Party does win the next election, because I think it's the only thing that can get Britain moving again. Look, we as a nation, in my view, are drinking in the last chance saloon. We've got one more chance to get this right. I don't think any of the traditional parties, have what it takes to do that, and that's why, call it opportunistic or not. I mean, look, by the way, it's not a very easy thing to do, to leave a political party that you've been supporting.
15 years.
Well, I've been supporting it for over 30 years, Chris, and, it was a huge decision. It's not one I've taken lightly. But we've got a choice here in this country. We can either be like the 16,500 people who give up on Britain and apparently have left in the last 12 months. We can either wring our hands and say, decline is our destiny, or we can stand and fight to make things better, fight for a better Britain. And that, by joining Reform, by supporting Nigel Farage to be our next Prime Minister, that's the choice I've made.
Have you been promised any role by Nigel Farage to come across?
No, it's early days. I just want to do all I can to support him and the party and, to ensure that we can go on that journey.
We're speaking a week when David Jones, the former Welsh Secretary under David Cameron, he announced he was joining he had joined Reform UK on Monday. You announced your plans Wednesday. Is there a whole slew of you coming across from the Tory party? I know you quit the party a while ago.
Look, I think what makes Reform different is its ability to appeal to people, for those people who have strong political views, may have been in political parties previously, people who have no political views. Look at Zia Youssef, a leading British entrepreneur who's come to Reform, bringing his expertise in that sector, people from the business community, people from the Labour Party, people from across the political spectrum saying, now is the time to do something different. What binds us all together isn't what party we may have been a member of at some point in the past, is our belief in the future, our belief that Britain has one more chance to get it right, that decline isn't the same as destiny. We can ensure that Britain can become a country we can believe in again.
Talking about former awful Tories, can we talk about Jake Berry?
Yes, go.
Because
Hello.
What?
My friend Jake Berry. You're going to slate him off.
Oh, he's your friend now, Carol.
Oh, he's been my friend for the 6 months I've worked with him, Jonathan.
Well, let me tell you that I think that the Tories are well read. and reform's welcome to him.
This is very
Look,
profound.
this is
Very personal.
You have people.
Have you ever met him?
Yes, I
How many
have.
times?
And he started. Look, he was hosting me on a rival TV network, and he's tried to start a pylon.
Not
on
a
me.
rival. And also ran.
And he tried to start a pylon on me because we had a row over trans rights, and he tried to start a pylon on me afterwards, which I don't think you should do as a substantive, but fair enough. So, obviously, there's a bit of personal animus, but besides that, I don't think he's a good politician. I think that he's personally arrogant. I think that he's not the kind of person that reform needs if they're going to broaden their appeal. I don't think that he is the right person for reform.
Who is?
You might think that, but reform think he is because of accepted. But more importantly, that what he said in his statement was that he still cares enough about Britain to fight for it. He wants the Britain back that he knows and loves.
Yeah,
we
and
have
I agree
lost
with him.
under this Labour Party over the past 12 months. So I think it's
And to be honest, under the Tories as well for the last few years.
Exactly.
They were useless.
And he's been very fair about that. He's credited the Tories with a lot of failure.
Yeah.
I had a show with him every Monday here. And he has a go at the Tories on a regular basis, saying they're to blame for a lot of our woes. However, I think he's a great addition. I think he's going to bring a lot of publicity for reform.
Nobody knows who he is, Carol.
Well, he was. Maybe you don't, but he was
Well, I know
the
who
former
he is.
Conservative Party chairman.
He's always like a household name.
Quite a lot of people
It's
in
not a household
politics.
name.
How many politicians are? How many
is a kind of-
politicians
No,
are?
I spoke to Suella Braverman at Nana's engagement party on Sunday, and she is
Party
the
of the
kind
year.
of person. Of course, she is the kind of person that I think would be a win-win. If someone like her were to jump ship, because her husband's already obviously
and I
in
think she
reform,
will.
if she does jump ship, that is kind of a win-win because it shows the Tory party is sort of getting rid of its fringes and the Reform Party is sort of getting a big name. Because you might have over the course of the next couple of years, a lot of kind of also-rans of the Conservative Party or former big shots of the Conservative Party realise they're never going to get back into Parliament under this Tory party, so Reform is the only vehicle for them.
Why do you think Jake Berry, he's given the Tories a year to try and get better, to be something. And he's seen that they're going nowhere, that they're polling now. There's Reform, Labour and then the Tories.
Yeah.
So that's why he's got out, because it's not going to do anything.
Because he's not going to get back into Parliament with the Conservatives
It's
as well.
not about, you're assuming that all politicians go into to politics just for themselves. And you've always had a go at me for saying that. He wants to change Britain. He wants Britain back to the way it was. He
had years to do it, and he failed.
reminds me a bit of Nigel, actually, because he's punchy, he's ballsy, he says what he thinks. And I think the people who are going to vote Reform want that.
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you. For the Britain you love. For the communities you live in. That's what makes us the fearless champions of Britain. Its voices and its values. Because we, at GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel,